So this has been my first track day in this Ford Puma. How do you think it went?
Well, I think it went very well. Obviously, when we started first thing this morning, the track was quite wet, and one of the vagaries of Brands Hatch is the fact that the track does take a long time to dry out in certain places, particularly clearways. But I think by putting the sort of more treaded tyres on the back helped enormously, gave you a bit of confidence. But I think you picked up the lines very quickly, and also the intricacies of front-wheel drive.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So how different is it going to be when I race in the rear-wheel drive car? I guess different things to be watching out for.
Yeah, well, hopefully, you're driving a BMW, which will probably have a bit more power than a 1600 Puma. But yeah, with rear-wheel drive, it tend to get probably a bit of oversteer with the car. Yeah. Whereas with the Puma, it's more likely to have understeer. As you found out, mainly going through clearways, particularly where it was damp, the car tends to push on. And also you have to keep the power going to make sure that the car's got enough speed to come down the straight.
So, is there a corner here that you think is going to bite in the BMW that didn't bite so much in the Ford?
Well, I think, interestingly, as I say, the track's dried out quite a bit now. Yeah. Graham Hill Bend, they've done a little bit of alteration too, but it's still quite a tight corner. You'll probably get more speed down the straight here, and it'll be where you change direction through here. This is the most likely area, you know, where you could have a little bit of an incident. Coming through Surtees, if it's dry, you'll be able to take a fair bit of curb, which we couldn't do this morning because obviously there was quite a bit of moisture held in the curbing there. And then when you go up into the second part, just through Clark into clearways, any time where a car has to change direction quite quickly is where it could be vulnerable. But as you learn, you know, if you make the corners smoother and longer, you're not having to do so much work on the steering wheel, makes it a lot easier, and you can get more response from the car.
So what do you think, as I go into my first race, what should I be like focusing on in terms of like the car and just setting myself up ready to go?
Well, you're obviously going to have quite a lot of other cars around you. There's going to be some drivers that are going to be ultra competitive and will be, as they say, they won't take any prisoners. There's others that will probably be novices or less experienced, and that's probably where the group is that you're going to sort of slot into. The main thing is to hold your own, not to be fazed by other cars around you, and they will be in close proximity, particularly on the first few laps. And if you get into a happy rhythm, you may find that you're in a bunch of, say, 1, 2 or maybe 3 cars. The only issue with that is that it might make you drive a bit defensively. In other words, when you come along the straight here, the optimum line, as most of them are taking here, is to come in quite wide, take the corner, into the curb, and then straight line across. What might happen is someone might try to come up the inside of you. You might realise that, then you might try to go defensive, which obviously lowers your speed, because all this area through here, all the way up to clearways, is all uphill. So it obviously saps a bit of power out the car. In the second half of the corner, you're braking. You want to make sure you brake in a straight line, and then to get out of the corner quickly so that you're not vulnerable when you come down the straight, and get back over to hug that pit wall. That's really crucial.
So do you think for my first time in a car like that properly, do you think it was a pretty good first experience?
Oh, without doubt, yeah. With the Puma today, I think you've learned a lot about the vagaries of the circuit, because unlike an airfield circuit, here you've got undulations, the track goes up and down quite a bit. You've got a lot of off-camber corners, which is where the inside of the track is slightly higher than the outside. So, for instance, especially at Paddock Bend, when you go through there, it feels like you're going off a cliff, and you dip down and the car's naturally going to go out to the outside of the corner. You manage to get the turn-in point right. You have to go very wide into the corner, again, to make it as smooth as possible. There's a clipping point on the inside. The only thing you will notice when you're here on a race day, you won't have the nice little marker cones out. So all that you've remembered, you've got to keep up there. Maybe it might be an idea to get a little map of the circuit just to remind yourself of, you know, where these different points are, because as I say, on a race day, those cones gone. They've gone. All your little marker helpers, they're not there. So you've got to really just remember the lines around the circuit. But I think with the number of laps you've done today, you've done exceptionally well. I think, you know, you've picked up the lines, you've listened to what I've said, you've learnt about where to get on the power and how to carry the power down. The two most crucial things is to do your braking and your gear change in a straight line before the corner, get the car settled, and then get on the power as soon as possible to get the power through the corner so that you can then get down the straights as quick as possible. They're the bits where you've got to get pedal to the metal to get down there as quick as possible.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's been a good day. I think we've been blessed with glorious weather and for February, really good.
Well, let's hope it's like this in April, yeah?
Brilliant.
Thank you. Cheers.